everyone, welcome back to my channel, Reality Reads, and welcome back to another edition of 13 Nights of Halloween. Today I am giving you all of my thriller and horror book recommendations. It's going to be a good one. Grab a coffee, I already got mine. Let's jump into it. Okay, the first two on the list are actually from the same author. And the author is Ryan LaSala. I absolutely love both of these books. The first one is The Honeys. Do not let this beautiful cover fool you. It is absolutely stunning. One of my all-time favorite covers. This is a horror book, and it really has a lot of themes of like secret societies and also some like political conspiracy kind of stuff. There's a lot of LGBTQIA kind of representation in both of his books that I'm recommending. It is a really, really good read. And one thing about Ryan LaSala, even though this book cover is absolutely stunning and so is the next one, his audiobooks are top tier. They are so immersive. They have several different narrators in them. They have like the background music and everything like that, outside noise. This has a lot to do with bees. Bees are a big part of this story, and they have like the buzzing of the bees and the stuff in the background. So it's just really good audio listen. The other book that I am recommending of his actually just came out this year, and just within like the last couple of months. It is called The Dead of Summer. It is set in a seaside town, and it's kind of like this zombie apocalypse kind of situation, but instead of the residents or those infected turning into like nasty, gross zombies, they turn into like these really pretty, which you can see on the cover here, like coral creatures. And it's really good. There's in Dead of Summer, there is a lot of relationship dynamics that are really interesting, whether it be from people that are in the town together, or some of the families that are in the story, or some of the friendships that are in the story. It is a really well-rounded book, and again, the audiobook, you cannot go wrong. In this story, there's a lot of like interviews done, and you can definitely tell in the audiobook like the sound and the volume and just like the quality of the audio is totally different between when they're telling the story and when someone is being interviewed. It's really, really a good read. I absolutely devoured that book. I was so engrossed in it. And yeah, if you're looking for some good horror books, and especially good horror book audiobooks, you cannot go wrong with Ryan LaSala. These are the only two books of his that I have read. I do know he has other books out there. I can't speak on those because I haven't read them yet. But so far he's 2 for 2, which is good for me. Okay, this next book that I'm going to recommend is available on Kindle Unlimited. And I think there's actually getting ready to be another like special edition release of this book coming up sometime soon, or maybe by the time this video is posted, it may already be available. The book is Ask for Andrea by Noelle Ely. And this is a thriller book. And the reason that I constantly always recommend this is because I just have never read a story that is like this one. This book is told from the several point of views, but they're all point of views from victims of a serial killer. And so it's like their ghost, their spirit is telling the story and taking you through this journey. And it is just so interesting, and it's wild. It is a wild story in and of itself. The point of view the story is being told from makes it really like interesting, but the story itself is also crazy. And at the end of the book, I remember just flipping and flipping and flipping. And I was just like trying to catch my breath because I was like, I have to know how this ends. I was getting like so anxious of like what was going to happen. It's a really good thriller. Really good thriller. I have been recommending that one for like 2 years now. It will always make my thriller recommendation list every single time. It's a freaking good book. My next book on the list is a book that I think is really good for anyone that maybe doesn't dive into the thriller genre very often. It was one of the very first thriller books I read whenever I was kind of getting back into reading, and it was great. I think now, as someone that has read way more thrillers than I had at the time, I may not enjoy it quite as much now, but it is such a great beginner thriller book, and it is called Local Woman Missing. A lot of people say that they 100% like saw where this story was going, and I don't know how they did. Again, I think if I had read more thrillers, maybe I would be in that same group of people. But I remember being totally blown away by the plot twist in this story. I also just think that it was just a really well told story. I've read several other books by the same author, and I didn't really love those as much. The storytelling just didn't really draw me in the way this one does. So, just saying, this one can be a hit or miss for people, but for me personally, as someone that was getting into the thriller genre, it was a good read at that time. Up next, I have a thriller recommendation for anyone that also loves reality television, and it is called Everyone is Watching. This is actually kind of a thriller book that is somewhat loosely based on the game show Big Brother. If you have been following me for a while, you know that's something that I know a little bit about. It's a really interesting book as well. It is, this group of people that is playing a reality game show that is just like Big Brother. It is being, cast on the web 24/7. Anyone can watch. And all of a sudden, some people start dying. Ooh, not good when you're casting it to the world wide web, right? So it's a really, really good read. It was a really fast-paced read. And I did listen to some of it on audiobook. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't anything super great, but the story itself is just really, really good. The plot twist at the end, whew, my goodness, it was so good. I've got two more on the list. The next one is another horror recommendation, and it is called Suburban Hell. And this one is a lot different than the other two horror books I recommended to you. It's very, very campy. Very campy. This is the story of, I think it's 4 like suburban housewife mom kind of women that all live in the same cul-de-sac, and one of them ends up getting possessed. And so the story is kind of the journey of the other moms trying to like save their friend. And there's also just like neighborhood drama. And it's just like a fun horror read, honestly. And I actually just started the same author. She has a couple other books. And I just started one of the other ones. It's called Hex Education. So we'll see how that one goes. Maybe it'll make the list for next year. But Suburban Hell, I feel like no one ever talks about this book. It's highly underrated, and it's such a like hidden gem kind of book. If more people read it, people would just be talking about it nonstop. But it is the perfect kind of like October spooky season read. And it definitely is in the horror genre. Like, I know I made it sound a little bit silly, goofy, but there were some parts that actually did have me kind of creeped out a little bit. But there is like that funny camp, humorous side of it as well. So it just makes it a really well-rounded book, in my opinion. Rounding out the list is actually my most recent read, and it is Salem's Fall by Rectalk Ross. This was such a fun read. And I had previously read a book by her that is called Summer Rental, and it was pretty good as well. It was kind of like a like Scream vibe. And this one is really, in my opinion, not based on necessarily or like a spin-off of any kind of show or movie. There is one of the male main characters. He does remind me a lot of Damon Salvatore from The Vampire Diaries. But it's just like a general vibe. It's not like, I don't know that the character is actually based off of him. But this is a really, really good read. I, just like with Ask for Andrea, at the end of this book, I was feeling so tense and anxious and just like flying through the pages to find out what happened because I was so panicked for the female main characters. It was so good. It's a psychological thriller with a little bit of romance mixed in there. It's not spicy literally at all, but the kind of like will they, won't they kind of vibe that is in this book is really, really good. I feel like this book is way better than Summer Rental. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like she grew a lot as an author. I just was really, really invested in the story and just felt really connected and immersed into the story. It was just a really, really good time. Well, that wraps up today's video. Those are all of my horror and thriller recommendations. You have plenty of time to get some spooky season reading in, so hopefully some of these will make your list. If they do, let me know in the comments which ones you are going with, and come back and let me know what you thought of them whenever you finish. Hope you enjoy them, and I will see you in the next video.